Hi lovelies, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're returning. First of all the windows are open even though it's late at night because it is so boiling and so humid, and I've had to put the fan on behind me, so I hope that's not too distracting, but it feels like a pressure cooker. I think there must be a storm coming in. Look at the Luna getting in the way of the fan. It is so hot. Okay, today I thought I would film a happies video. I haven't done one for ages and ages. I'd like to get back into them. So a July happies, so decks, books, experiences, all that sort of thing. So July, I've got to start off by talking about the end of school year for the kids. It was a big one this year. I've spoken about it before. I'm not going to go on and on about it, but it was Tilly leaving her school that she's been at since she was 5, and she's 18 now, so she's been there 14 years. So July was an absolute emotional roller coaster. We're excited about the lovely college that I've managed to get her place in starting in September, so there's lots of new doors, lots of new beginnings, lots of things to look forward to, but endings are still bittersweet. And the staff at the school she's been at, they love her so much, and they have loved her so much for 14 years that it felt like saying goodbye to family, because they have been Tilly's family and she has absolutely adored it there. So July saw the very last sports day where Tilly, who normally doesn't like to take part, this time she took part in a couple of events, which was amazing. Javelin and shot put. The shot put, she made me stand right at the end of the shot put throwing range, saying that she could aim for my face, which made all the teachers roar with laughter. It was the very last regatta as well on the river in Evesham. It was the very last awards assembly as well, where all of the teachers were in tears saying goodbye to the sixth formers. And of course we had prom as well for her in July. Loads and loads of emotional goodbyes and exciting new starts. So July, gosh, it was just a roller coaster. And sticking with school-based things, it also saw plays at my son's school and the last of university open day visits for my middle daughter. We were in Wales a few times at different cities looking at universities for her. All of those open days now are kind of done. We have a plan there now moving forward. So it was busy, emotional and exciting and different every week, all rolled into chaos really in July. Tilly did choose some beautiful sculptures for her school garden to leave as a thank you leaving present. I took her one evening to a garden centre and she chose some beautiful little sculptures to leave. She chose a sculpture of a mouse because she is always been like cheese obsessed, and all the staff have known that, and so she's left Tilly the mouse in the school garden, and then 3 little chicks to represent her and her brother and sister to leave in the school garden as well, which was just so lovely. So in July I also had a go at vlogging. You will have seen some vlogs around Evesham because I was over at Tilly's school quite a bit. I really enjoyed vlogging. I think I did 2 or possibly 3, I can't even remember now. It was my first real proper attempt at vlogging and I loved it. It's a lot of editing, but I quite like the storytelling element of vlogging, so I am going to be keeping up with that, and you will have seen me sharing some different aspects of Evesham while I was over there such a lot for Tilly's last few weeks. And that brings me to my first deck that I used in July. Evesham is the site of a Mother Mary sighting. So a couple of sightings of Mother Mary, and I told you all about the story of that. And my practice with Mary has kind of been a real comfort to me on the moments where the emotional ups and downs of July kind of got in not a good way. I think there's so much change. Either we're in the middle of it, me and the kids, or we're on the cusp of it, that I am struggling at times. I really am. Just that empty nest is beginning to bounce echoes my way, the emptiness to come. I think it's as big a change for me as it is for the kids. I'm trying very hard to put things in place to support myself through this, because the last thing I need to do is fall apart and make the kids feel like they should be worried or to feel guilty about next steps, which is not what I want at all. I just want them to fly. But that's the double-edged sword, isn't it, of motherhood, and having loved the kids at home, is you just want them to fly, and yet you want them to stay in the nest forever. It's tough. It's a tough time. And I did take these cards to Evesham and pull a card. I am leaving these cards out now for August. I find a lot of comfort and a lot of support with these Mother Mary decks that I've got, and some of those moments in Evesham, I've got to admit, I was shedding tears a little bit sitting down and pulling cards. So this deck has really helped. So this is the Mother Mary Oracle, if you didn't get that before. It's an Alana Fairchild one. This is the smaller pocket-sized one, which has all of the info on the back of the card, so you don't need the guidebook, which is great for throwing it in your bag. It's all the same artwork as the bigger version of this deck, but the pocket version is really great for exactly what I used it for throwing it in my bag and just having it there as a real comfort deck. It really is a hug deck for me. So as well as the beginning of July being full of an emotional roller coaster with schools ending, we then hit the summer holidays for the end of July, and the kids go to their dads for the first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks of every summer holiday they're at their dads, and then they come back to me, and I also find that incredibly difficult. I've been doing it now since 2014, so it's been a decade, and I still find it really hard that we've got to the excitement of the end of term and then I don't see them. So I promised the children this year that I would go out of my way to try and find fun things for myself to do. It's been up and down for me. I think the emotion of this year and this July it's made it challenging, but I've really done my best. A deck that really helped was opening this Stranger Things deck. So I've had this for a while, but I wasn't going to open it until I'd finished watching all the seasons, all 4 seasons of Stranger Things on the TV, which I did through June and July. I'd only watched 1 season, bought the deck, and then I binge watched the other 3 seasons so I could open the deck. I completely love this deck, and to be honest, it was such a support as well. It was a real support when I needed it the most. I think it's because I love the characters so much. I love the show. I love the story. It's the story for me. It's kind of got a nostalgia kick to it because the children in it are growing up. It feels like in the same era that I grew up in. It feels like children born in the late 60s, growing up through the 70s. Everything just felt so familiar. I love the characters. There is a real sort of wholesome, like, pulling together and family feel of the characters, which is exactly what I was wanting and what I felt I needed in July, especially once the summer holidays hit and I found myself, after all those emotions, on my own, just me and the dogs. So opening this deck, it just couldn't have come at a better time. It was just really amazing. So this deck, I did a initial impressions video, which I really enjoyed making, and I was really keen to discuss Stranger Things with this deck. You know, the cardstock of this deck is absolutely gorgeous. So I did that, but this deck also featured in the going beyond the tarot reading, beyond the reading video that I did, which I loved doing that video, and hopefully it's been helpful to anybody that watched. But I said that I was really fed up of pulling a week ahead spread, putting it out on my desk, and then the next week just putting the cards away and pulling the next reading. And in that video I challenged myself to go beyond the reading, to really make those cards really come to life in my life, either by journaling or asking questions or implementing advice, actually like doing the work, or using them as an inspiration for days out, all sorts of things. And this deck featured, in fact, although since then I've pulled another week ahead spread, my Stranger Things week ahead spread is still out because I've been at the caravan, so it's been left out. So I'm going to take the phone down and I'm going to show you the reading. So this was my week ahead spread for like the third week of July. Like I said, it's still out because I've been away for the last week. And I really wanted this reading to really impact me, and oh boy did it ever. Now you can see I've used 2 oracle decks as well. So I've used, do you like this wicker basket, by the way? This was being thrown out at the side of the road, believe it or not. So all of my current decks I'm working with are in here, so you can see I've still got last week's in here. So I worked with the Angelarium, which you can see the Angel of Silence there, which I talked about in the video. I'm not going to talk about the meanings of this spread again, because I did that all in another video. And the Rooted Woman Oracle, which is blowing my mind. So you can see there's an Angelarium card there and a Rooted Woman card there. And then this is the reading. Just quickly, this was Energy of the Week, this was Lesson of the Week, and then there were 1, 2, 3, 4 things to look for in the week, and the underlying energy of the week, and then 2 oracle cards, and it was so impactful. Now, one of the best things that I did, if I just grab this here, so this is my latest tarot journal that I'm working in. I brainstormed my reading. Look, that's some Dagda work. So this is the brainstorm that I did for each card, and you can see I've got all sorts of writing here, and I have left this page for the moon reading. This is the meadow that I found. So this meadow card, I walked into a meadow of wildflowers that week. You can see I've printed off pictures there. I couldn't believe it. I'll put some more pictures up now, but that was just a synchronicity that blew my mind, which I talk about in that video and using nature as a fifth suit, but honestly it was the brainstorming that really made such a massive difference to me. It was just amazing. It also led me into moon work. This was the moon spread that I pulled. This was with the Moon Oracle, and I loved this reading so much as well. So that really impacted me, and when I went to the van I pulled another week ahead spread and did the same thing. I took my decks, I took my journal, and I did the same thing, and that's been pretty amazing too. Oh my god, it is so hot. I've literally got the fan on me and I am still like dripping with sweat. It is so boiling. Let me show you the Angelarium. This was really interesting. So these are the backs on this deck, and you have these different angels which are really strongly depicted. You know, there's nothing sweet and Disney-like about these angels, and some great messages I think with some of these. Now I pulled an angel card to go with my week ahead spread, kind of as the dark energy for the reading, like almost like a shadow oracle card, and it kind of really did tie into that feeling of feeling the echoes of the empty nest and falling apart about it. The angel of silence, it asks you to look for the gifts within silence. Just absolutely perfect in a week where the underlying energy was a mom feeling the burden of being separated from her kids, which is what the underlying energy card of the week had been. Just amazing tarot and oracle messages for me. So I was really impressed with this deck. It was such a clear and really pertinent message, and I really loved it. And then the second oracle, where I got this meadow card from, I mean, can you even grasp that synchronicity? Just amazing. Is this Sharon Blackie oracle, and I'll show you a few cards in this. So this is the Rooted Woman oracle. It's got these really pretty backs. I'm trying not to get any glare in, although it's difficult because it is night now. It's just very earthy. It reminds me of where I live. It just feels like where I am, and I love it for that. It's just so gorgeous. I cannot tell you how much I'm loving working with this deck. I didn't take it away with me. I decided to take some water decks away with me this week for the end of July, because I was going to be at the caravan in Wales by the ocean again. So I didn't. It's the first week for ages that I've not pulled a card from this deck. But yeah, so this is the Rooted Woman oracle. So good. So those three decks working together I thought were just amazing. So the Rooted Woman oracle kind of brings me a little bit, and I'm jumping around everywhere, to some of the books I read, and I haven't finished reading this. I am about halfway through. This is Sharon Blackie, who did the Rooted Woman oracle. Her book called If Women Rose Rooted. Now this was recommended by one of you lot, and you are absolutely right, it is brilliant. And what it does, it takes different places like the moor and the bog, or deep caves and bottomless lakes, and or islands of the heart, and it talks about links kind of to our psyche and myths, and it is just fabulous. I think especially if you love working with spirit of place. So it draws inspiration from wild landscapes and the wise and powerful women in native mythology, and guidance from contemporary role models who have rerouted themselves in land and community and taken responsibility for shaping the future. It's very land and earth linked. It's about connecting yourself back in. It's such a good read. I really highly recommend it. So hopefully that will be finished. That will be finished next month. I am so slow at reading at the minute, guys. Another book that I am halfway through is Shakespeare's Wife. This is Germaine Greer. Now, if you've ever read any Germaine Greer before, you will know that she is very much an academic and a researcher, an academic researcher, and her books do read very much like that. It's all like research based, so it's not a difficult read, but it's not necessarily an easy read either. But it is fabulous for discounting and showing why it should be discounted some of the male writing in history about Shakespeare and his life, especially how much Anne Hathaway was sort of vilified by a lot of writers about Shakespeare and his life, and she's done her research as she always does. So if you want a historical breakdown of where the general idea of Anne Hathaway has gone astray and what it possibly was, this is the book for you. It is so good. I did spend a couple of days on the bench outside Anne Hathaway's cottage reading this, because I drive past Anne Hathaway's cottage every day of the week to take Poppy to school, and it's somewhere I know really well. There is a beautiful bench by the stream there, so a couple of days in July I did do an hour's reading in the morning before the day kicked off, sat on the bench actually looking at the cottage where she grew up as I read, and it was just wonderful. On one of those days after reading, I also went into the cottage again. It was really lovely to see the orchards now without the blossom but covered in apples, and to see all the changes in the cottage garden as well. The atmosphere really does change with the plants as they develop and change through the seasons. It's just always so wonderful to revisit this incredible place. I feel so lucky that all of this is right there on my doorstep. Another book which I've read, which isn't with me because I've left it at the caravan, I finished it this week, and it's by our own, our very wonderful Rumer Haven, and it's this book, Coattails and Coattails. I think I've said that the right way round. I'm going to put a picture in here. It was absolutely brilliant. Now, this is the third book of Rumer's that I've read. I've got one left to go. And this was a real sort of whodunit murder mystery set in a big house, just that classic sort of murder mystery, and it was so good. It kept me guessing and double guessing and triple guessing, and I still didn't get it right at the end, which was wonderful. Didn't see the twist coming, and it was just a great read. I read it sat swinging on my balcony at the caravan looking at the ocean, and I loved every single second of it. So Rumer, brilliant writing as always. I love your work. What a talented soul we've got in our community. Just wonderful. I'll link Rumer's channel and the books that she's written in the description box. All bought by myself, not sponsored, not gifted, not advertising. Bought them myself. I love them. Just sharing. Okay, the fourth book that I was reading in July, we're talking about July yet, was this one, Mirror of the Soul. So this is almost like, well, it's not almost, it is like a Thoth card meaning book, and it's, thank goodness I got a heads up for this via Tarot Tube, because it really is a great breakdown of the Thoth Tarot. So I've really loved this. So I've been doing a study in July of Thoth. What really started it was I wanted to work with Outgrow Yourself. Although this doesn't really look particularly that summery, I just suddenly got a massive call to do a reading with this. These are the 3 cards I pulled, and the Outgrow Yourself deck, I always use it as an oracle because I can never tell what card I'm looking at. And I suddenly realised it's because it's got just Thoth keywords, and that's all it's got on there. It's got your oracle phrase and Thoth keywords, and I don't know my Thoth keywords by heart, so I never know what I'm looking at, and I really want to know. I love using it as an oracle, but I want to use it as a tarot as well. So what I did, oh, that was the other card in there, I painstakingly matched all of the cards depending on keyword and laid it out with the Thoth above. So sorrow, I found sorrow in the Thoth deck, and that is the 3 of Swords. So that is the 3 of Swords, and you can see there is a clue there. There's 3 little knives in there, but there aren't clues on every card. But out of curiosity, I just wanted to pair them up to see if I could find any synchronicities. So this is the box that I took to the caravan, and you can see in this corner there is a Thoth card, because what I then took up to the van with me, honestly, I pack as if I'm going for a month, not just a few days. I took the big pile of cards, can you see, which is the cards laid out next to each other. So I've been trying to learn the Thoth keywords and read the Thoth book. I'm still, guys, trying to get a handle on what's different about Rider-Waite-Smith and the Thoth, and for some reason it just is not sinking in. The minute I get some knowledge, leave it a day and I've forgotten everything. It's just ridiculous. It just won't stay put in my mind. But I have really loved putting these 2 decks together and just comparing them. So if you would like a video to see this and to hear about what I've learned, I'll try and retain some knowledge perhaps, and I can always do a video showing it. It's really interesting comparing these 2 decks. So I've also been playing with that in July. Okay, what else is in the box that I took up to the caravan? So the main tarot deck that I was working with my week at the ocean was the Mermaid Tarot. Oh my gosh, have I loved this deck. It is just so lovely to read with, and it's been so clear as well, and I think the artwork, it's taken my breath away, to be honest, on repeat. I just think the artwork is just incredible. So I've been really impressed with the Mermaid Tarot. I've really loved it. So I've done a few readings this week actually up at the caravan, and I pulled my week ahead spread with it. So I'll show you some of the pictures now of the readings that I pulled with this one. You can see that a couple of oracles have come into play as well. So the first oracle is this one, the Sea Soul Journeys oracle card. I've loved this. Now I've even loved it with the Mermaid Tarot, and I didn't think I would like the photography with the Mermaid Tarot, but actually when it's in use, gosh, it's been lovely. It's been really lovely. I'm so pleased I've got this oracle deck. think it is a really good one. Like I said, it's given some beautiful readings this week. So that's the first oracle. The second oracle that I've been working with this at the end of July is the Water Alchemy Oracle. What I didn't realise when I first shared this was the fact that the guidebook has some really it's got really great sort of meditations. This is actually the card that I pulled, Miss. So you've got all your messages about the card, but then this is a guided meditation, and you get that with each card. I just think that's just so brilliant. You get ways of what I've been talking about with my brainstorming, of going beyond the reading. Like, there's things to do, there's guided meditations, that it supports you to go beyond the reading. And I think that that is really, really good for a guidebook. So I've been super impressed, and I just think these cards in this deck are so good. To work with this deck at the ocean is just brilliant. So I pulled Mist, and when I got to the caravan, I kind of was in one of those emotional downs. The caravan, which me and my kids have used for the last 10 years, seems very empty without the kids. And there was new people now on the site with new babies running around, and it just made me so heartsick for those days and my kids, and just really tough. And the Mist card kind of did feel like trying to pull myself out of the fog of that. So the first day there I struggled, but I also pulled the Ripple card, and this was amazing because I brainstormed on the Ripple card to look for ripples and to use ripples as a sign to kind of pull myself up and to move on. Like a ripple, it moves out, it starts at something, but it grows. Like, this is a change, it's a new start, but I'll grow into it. So I took the Ripple card as that, and I brainstormed to look for ripples. The very next morning I got up super early to walk the dogs round the beautiful forestry commission land. This is it here. You can see how absolutely beautiful this place is. It's the dogs always love it, I love it, but the whole walk is kind of smattered with waterfalls and gorges and streams, and there's a river nearby. And at the top of an incline I came to a pool that has been amazing in tarot readings before. It's a pool that has spoken to me messages of transformation and rebirth more than once with tarot and on a walk. And again, it did the same again on this walk. It was the only place I saw ripples on the whole walk. So of course I got down in the pool with the dogs and I washed my face in the fresh cold water as an acknowledgement of the ripple. So for me that was really amazing. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to lay out, now I'm home, I'm going to put out my week ahead spread, even though I'm nearly at the end of the week, and I'm going to show you what my week ahead spread was for the end of July. So this was my week ahead spread for the end of July, which I pulled down at the caravan. I've reset it up here. You can see, like with the week ahead reading the week before, I've got two oracle cards, one for more like a shadow energy, one for more of a moving on energy. Then the main feel of the week was the Three of Swords, and the lesson of the week was the Six of Swords. Things to look out for in the week: we've got the High Priestess, Justice, the Queen of Wands, and the 8 of Wands, with an underlying energy of the 5 of Wands. So some tough cards there, and to be honest, it's pretty much played out again. The 3 of Swords, when I got to the van, I actually had a really bad day. I'd kind of got a day behind myself, and I'd made plans for a Saturday thinking that I was going to be up there early Friday. Woke up what I thought was Friday and realised it was Saturday, and I messed the whole day's plans up with friends. And then the next day's plans that we'd got, something had happened and we couldn't do. So I got to the van really kind of berating myself. All these things I'd planned to look forward to kind of fell apart, and I just sat in real mental self-destruct mode, thinking, oh, I'm just sitting by myself in the van and the kids aren't here, and everybody else on the site has got kids with them, or families or partners. And I did really go into a slump of the 3 of Swords, which I had been battling with a little bit, to be honest, in Wales. It just, yeah, it's been an issue for me. And when I pulled the 3 of Swords, I think I'd even been crying when I pulled this reading. So the 3 of Swords coming out, it really did feel like it was going to be one of those weeks where I would need to battle it. We have those weeks, don't we? But the lesson was the 6 of Swords. Now, it really did strike me that because the plans had fallen through, and because my friends were making other plans, I realised how quickly I tell myself I'm a burden to people, even though my friends never ever have made me feel that way, and are only ever really excited when we plan to do things together. And I, in this mode, convinced myself I was a burden, I should turn down the invite. My self-sabotage voice, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that does it, was saying they don't really want you, it's a sympathy invite, nobody wants you. I was on one of those spirals. And what I did with the Ripple card and washing my face on that walk in the early morning, I felt like I got out of the fog that I was self-creating. And these 2 Oracle cards did come in to play here, and I really gave myself a talking to, and I told myself I really needed to stop imagining what people were thinking. So all the change of plans, I said yes to all the invites, and I ended up having the most amazing day with my friends, playing on the water. And this card just sums it up, because I ended up going for rides on jet skis, and we were paddle boarding, and it was the most awesome day. And it just made me laugh that my friend's boyfriend Alex, he was in his wetsuit and looked like a seal, and I was on the back of the jet ski, and I thought, my gosh, this is the 6 of Swords card. It really is. And I tell you what, 60 miles an hour around the estuary on a jet ski, it did feel like the bumpiness of being pulled over land by a seal. So there was a real lesson to be learned in the week that I've had about my destructive self-talk, and not to do it anymore. I had lots of nighttime walks on the beach with my dogs, and looking at stones and just talking to the ocean. What's that, Rumer? Come on then. Are you ready to go? And that felt very much like this. I did some artwork down at the van, the Queen of Wands creativity coming in, and also I moved more, like a whole day on the water, walking with the dogs. And then the Five of Wands, like things coming into alignment. This card is a lot more about like kind of focus, like putting things together, and I really focused on the jobs that I needed to focus on. The last half of the week at the van, it was all painting and fixing wood and filing back iron railings and repainting those. Loads and loads of work. I've been turning the 2 balconies at the caravan from a brown that's going rotten and iron railings that are falling apart to iron railings that now look sparkly clean and new, and I'm painting everything a beautiful sea blue colour, and it's just been so lovely to do. So again, I think there are some real synchronicities here in that reading to what happened down at the van in the week, and it was just fantastic to do. So yeah, and look how beautiful they look, the Mermaid Tarot with the Water Alchemy Oracle, just really fabulous. Another deck that I absolutely loved was working with the Healing Waves Tarot. I'll put a picture in here of the reading that I did last week with this. It's kind of got the same blue that I love. Not quite the same colour blue that I'm painting my balcony, which is a bit paler, but similar. These are the cards that I pulled in the reading that I did that was really helpful. I think tarot, when you're a bit all over the place and a bit emotionally up and down, can be such a grounding practice, and I really did enjoy working with this deck. I have to say my stalker card for July has been the King of Wands. The King of Wands keeps coming out as an energy for me to embody moving forward, so I might even do a study on the King of Wands. I think there is enough synchronicities now that have happened that make me realise that yeah, I probably need to look a little bit closer. So this is the glorious Healing Waves Tarot. Unfortunately, it is out of print and hard to find now. When I shared it in my water decks video which I did in July, I also said that the Queen of Wands was my all-time favourite Queen of Wands in any deck, and I don't think I showed it in that video, so there it is now. Isn't that just the most beautiful Queen of Wands? So the Healing Waves Tarot is another deck that I've really loved in July. So another thing that I've been doing, I've been working in a upcycled book or grimoire or enchanted book, let's call them enchanted books, which covers everything. I don't know whether the video is going up before this one or after, but I do have a video about some of this work, which has just been so impactful to do. This page was done up at the caravan in the end of July as well. There is a whole video coming with the tarot readings. For this work I was using the landscape tarot, I think that's what it's called. I'll put some pictures in here of some of the cards that I pulled in July from that. So that was another lovely deck that I used, and I really enjoyed working creatively at the van and in my art studio. In the garden, I've managed to clear the path to under the tree, which has been really fun. Hopefully there's a gardening video coming soon as well for that. And that's kind of it, guys. There's been some beautiful sunsets in July. There's been lots of sitting by the river laughing at Rupert swimming, because that's what he loves to do more than anything in the world. He always causes a crowd to form. Everybody loves watching Rupert swim. It is one of the biggest joys of my life, watching my dog play in water. And it's just been busy and joyous and fun and not fun. It's been a roller coaster. It's been up and down. So that's been July. Those are the bits of July that stand out to me. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed seeing the decks. I will I'll definitely leave links to Rumer's channel as well. Also, I've got a new tag out, collections meet decks. I'm going to put a call out here for anybody that wants to join in who has a collection. It doesn't need to be a big collection, it can be a collection of anything. I just really am such a collector that I just love seeing other people's collections, and I love watching people talk about their collections because people light up. I can spot another collector's soul a mile away. All I'm asking in that tag is for you to show what you collect, talk about what you collect, and link it to decks that kind of feel similar, so we get the best of both worlds. We get to see other people's decks and their collections. I'm going to finish this video by doing a massive shout out to Tammy Pie, who immediately did a VR response. It was up for me to wake up to at the van the next day, which was so exciting, and she shared the most delightful collection of ceramics. I've forgotten the name of the woman whose ceramics it is, but the ceramics are so gorgeous. She linked everything she's got in her collection to her decks. I loved the video so much. I'm so excited to see other VR responses coming in. A couple of people have said they're going to do VRs, which I'm really looking forward to, but please, if you've got collections, I really want to see. I want to see, and I want to be able to share them all on my channel. So thank you, Tammy Pie, for doing an immediate response. It was so fun, and I'll link that video down below. So that is definitely it now, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.